Hey everyone, and welcome back to Mass Effect. So we've got two orders of business right away. First thing we want to do, we want to go ahead and look at what our missions are. We've collected quite a few of them, and it's been a little time since we've taken some inventory of what exactly we have to do. So we've got a few collectibles. All these UNC ones seem to be just general, items to be on the lookout for. These insignia, emblems, writings. We've got this data pad that we've got to return to the Citadel, some medallions, ID tags, all kinds of minerals. We're probably not going to get them all because we're not going to go over each and every planet, with the Mako with a fine-tooth comb. We will scan every planet, so we'll pick up as many as we can from orbit, but we won't necessarily, feel too badly if we miss a bunch of these on the ground. Missing Marines, that's a Citadel mission. The hostage. Okay, we've got to look for the Hades system. A few other ones on the Citadel that we'll have to keep an eye out for. So, with that in mind, I say my plan is just to keep sort of exploring the systems, the available systems a little bit. I'm sure that with each major story milestone, new ones will unlock. So for the time being, we'll just keep on working with the ones we have. Next order of business is to assign these extra squad points that we have available to us. So let's go ahead and keep maxing out our Spectre training. I'm not 100% sure why we can't take these last two. It might be some sort of level-based prohibition, that we haven't progressed far enough into the story to take these. But we could take Charm and Intimidate. Vanguard increases our biotic protection and shotgun damage. I'm just going to hold on to these for now. I'm not 100% sure which direction we're gonna take this, and I would rather have the options. Ooh, let's take a look outside. Oh, okay. Just more codex information. One of these times we'll just do a quick, well, maybe not quick, sort of an at-length codex session. We may not read everything in full detail, but we will definitely open everything at least and hit sort of the high points so we can get an idea of a little bit more about the world of Mass Effect, which I personally can't get enough of. And I think it would be sad if we missed out on all the kind of the fun little lore bits, but I know some people also aren't super interested in those parts of the game, and so giving it its own episode or two will hopefully help people stick around for the parts that they're most interested in. So with this, I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk with some of our squad mates. Here's our locker. Oh boy, okay. Well, before we forget, let's go ahead and equip ourselves with the latest and greatest Edge 3. Well, to be honest, it's still not as good as what we're rocking right now. Amp. No. We want to keep what we have right now. Okay. So not much here, but let's start talking to some of our squad members and see if we can't advance some of their sort of personal plot lines along.
Commander, do you have a minute?
Of course, I came to talk to you
I
specifically.
always make time for my officers.
Off the record, I think there's something wrong here. This Saren is looking for records on some kind of galactic extinction, but we can't get backup from the Council? Sorry, Commander. There's writing on the wall here, but someone isn't reading it.
Well, it's because the Council is speciesist against humans.
The Council doesn't want to believe anything's wrong. I'd call it human nature, but...
I hear you.
Prejudice.
It just seems like a group that's been around as long as the Council should see this coming.
Yeah, they should.
I mean, it's funny, we finally get out here, and the final frontier was already settled. And the residents don't even seem impressed by the view. Or the dangers.
I mean, I agree with him.
Well, you're a romantic. Did you sign on for the dream, Malenko? Secure a man's future in space?
Yeah, I read a lot of those books when I was a kid, where the hero goes to space to prove himself worthy of a woman he loves, or, for justice. Or maybe I was a romantic in the beginning, but I thought about it after brain camp. Biotic acclimation and temperance training.
Brain camp.
I'm not looking for the dream. I just want to do some good.
Xavier School for
See
Gifted
what's out
Children.
here. Sorry if I got too informal. Protocol wasn't a big focus back in Bot.
Yeah. So how exactly did you get trained in biotics?
Tell me about it.
Biotic acclimation and temperance didn't last past the airlock. To the kids they hauled in, it was brain camp. Sorry, hauled in is unkind. We were encouraged to commit to an evaluation of our abilities so an understanding of biotics.
Right, like they had a
could be
choice,
compiled.
I'm sure.
There are worse results of accidental exposure to element 0 in the womb. Beats the brain tumors some kids grew up with.
Your dad was accidental, so somebody was trying to create biotic humans?
Is there some question about how you were exposed?
My mother was downwind of a transport crash. It was before there were human biotics, a little after the discovery of the Martian ruins. It only gets iffy around 63 when Kinetics was running out of first-gen subjects. Until then, they'd relied on accidentals. A bunch of guys in suits show up at your door after school, and next thing you know, you're out on Jump Zero.
Interesting. Which is what?
Jump Zero is Gagarin Station, right? What's it like?
Yeah, that's the official name. Biggest and farthest facility we had for decades. Right on the termination shock, the outer edge of the solar system. It's where they did all the Goose Chase FTL research before we caught on to using mass effect fields. It was a sterile research platform when I was there.
Sounds pretty lonely.
There were other kids in the same boat, right? At least you weren't alone out there.
That's true. We did have a little circle that'd get together every night before lights out. We didn't have much to do, though. It was a research platform then, and Kinetics kept Jump Zero off the extranet to prevent leaks.
To get physical or to talk? Well, we'll start with one.
And you must have had plenty of time to get to know each other.
Yeah, we'd sit around and bull every night after dinner, play cards or network games. There was this girl named Rana, who had a little circle grow up around her. She was from Turkey. Her family was very rich. But she was smart and charming as hell. Beautiful, but not stuck up about it. Like you, I guess. Ma'am.
Oh, I see where this is going. And...
Sounds like she was special to you.
She was. Maybe she felt the same. But things never felt together. Training, you know.
Yeah, I get it. Tell me about it.
You know of any intentional exposures for certain?
No one knows. Doesn't mean they didn't happen. As big as the exposures were, it was hard to track down accidentals. It was different then. No one knew the potential, so there wasn't a lot of regulation. Anything Kinetics did was gold. I'm not saying they intentionally detonated drives over our outposts, but in retrospect, they were damn quick on the scene.
Yeah, fair enough.
Jump Zero's a long way from home. What was it like?
The grand gateway to humanity looks a lot better in the vids. Anyway, this was supposed to be a casual debrief, not a bull session about stuff that happened years ago.
Hey, I came to talk to you, buddy.
I wanted to get to know you a little better. That's all. Thanks for the talk, Caden.
Well, you're welcome, ma'am. You, make a habit of getting this personal with everyone?
Well, yeah. I've got to know my crew.
Of course. But I don't enjoy it with everyone. We'll talk again later.
I'll need some time to process that, Commander. But, yeah, I'd like that.
Okay, I see where this is going. Putting down some hints. Alright, so we talked to Caden. Sleeper pods. See who... I see that there's somebody on our mini-map next door. Is it the dock? Medbay? Yep. I don't think she has a whole lot to say to us for the moment. They're just our rank-and-file troops. Carry on, men. See who else we can find on our squad. Here's our room. Oh, personnel manual. This could be useful. No. For another time. Yes. So we may have to go down to the basement section. Find the rest of our gang. Yeah, that's just gonna go up top. All right, let's head down. I know Rex and Tali are down here for sure. I suspect some of the other folks are there. Oh, there's Garrus. Why don't we go have a chat with him?
Commander, nice work out there. I knew working with the Spectre would be better than life at CSEC.
Oh, you know.
Have you worked with the Spectre before?
Well, no, but I know what they're like. Spectres make their own rules. You're free to handle things your way. At CSEC, you're buried by rules. The damn bureaucrats are always on your back.
I can't disagree.
Being a Spectre does have its advantages.
Exactly my point. If I'm trying to take down a suspect, it shouldn't matter how I do it, as long as I do it. But CSEC wants it done their way. Protocol and procedure come first. That's why I left.
Yeah, I mean, so can you expand on that?
So you just quit because you didn't like the way they do things?
There's more to it than that. It didn't start out bad, but as I rose in ranks, I got saddled with more and more red tape. CSEC's handling of Saren was typical. I just couldn't take it anymore. I hate leaving.
I mean, it can't have been easy.
I hope you made the right choice. I'd hate for you to regret it later.
Well, that's sort of why I teamed up with you. It's a chance for me to get off the Citadel, see how things are done outside CSEC.
Yeah, I get it. Spread your horizons.
Either way, I plan to make the most of this. And without CSEC headquarters looking over my shoulder, well, maybe I can get the job done my way for a change.
I mean, however you get results, I mean, I'm all for it.
As long as you do your job well, you're free to go about your business as you see fit.
Thank you, Commander.
Cool. Doc. Who's next? Ashley.
Commander?
Hey, let's chat.
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
Sure. I was hoping to get a minute of your time off the record.
Shoot.
I keep an open door policy. If you have any concerns, lay them on me.
All right. I know things are different aboard the Normandy, but I'm concerned about the aliens, Vicarian and Rex. With all due respect, Commander, should they have full access to the ship?
Oh, Ashley, come on. Because they're aliens or because they're not Alliance? Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Or we could just straight up ask her.
Don't mince words, Chief. What's your concern?
This is the most advanced ship in the Alliance Navy. I don't think we should give them free rein to poke around the vital systems. Engines, sensors, weapons.
Is it because you are anti-alien?
You don't trust the Alliance's allies?
I'm not sure I'd call the Council races allies. We, humanity, have to learn to rely on ourselves.
But we gotta reach out first, though.
Standing up for ourselves doesn't mean standing alone.
I don't think we should turn down allies. I just think we shouldn't bet everything on them staying allies. As noble as the Council members seem now, if their backs are against the wall, they'll abandon us.
That's pretty cynical.
You got a pessimistic view of the universe, Williams.
A pessimist is what an optimist calls a realist. Look, if you're fighting a bear and the only way for you to survive is to sick your dog on it and run, you'll do it. As much as you love your dog, it isn't human. It's not racism, not really. Members of their species will always be more important to them than humans are.
Sounds like there's something personal going on with her opinions.
These seem like deeply held beliefs, Williams. What made you think this way?
My family's defended the Alliance since it was founded. My father, grandfather, great-grandmother, they all picked up a rifle and swore the oath of service. I guess we just tend to think of Earth's interests as our own.
I come from a military family, too. My parents were both Navy. Anybody in your family we might know?
Couldn't say, Commander. We probably have a lot in common. You join up to carry on the tradition?
See space to serve the Alliance for the action. One fits us the best. I mean, to serve, yeah, but we seem like a very fast-paced type of person.
I'm here to put hypervelocity rounds through the heads of bad guys.
Booyah.
Most satisfying part of the job, Commander.
It doesn't sound like you've worked with aliens before.
No, ma'am. Mainly I've been groundside, part of the surface garrison forces. I did get a rotation on a space station for training. Every Marine a rifleman, every rifleman ZG certified.
Kind of like the, yeah, that is the Marine Creed, right? Every Marine a rifleman, the U.S. Marines. So just one? It seems like a pretty short tour.
That's odd. Your record is spotless and your technical scores are exemplary. You should be serving with the fleet.
Anyway, that's why I haven't served with many aliens, Commander.
She brushed that pretty quick. There's something more there. I understand, but do have to, put aside your feelings for the greater good.
Alright, I can see where your concerns are coming from, Williams. But this is a multilateral mission. You're gonna have to work with aliens, like it or not.
It won't be a problem, Commander. You say jump, I say how high. You tell me to kiss a Turian, I'll ask which cheek.
I appreciate that.
I don't think kissing Turians will be necessary.
You never know, Commander.
And how are you feeling personally?
What's your opinion of the last mission?
Not sure I buy Dr. Tassoni's story about her and her mom not talking. They're family, right?
I mean, she seemed pretty genuine to me.
I think she's being straight with us. Or at least I don't think she lies very often.
Yeah, she's probably really bad at it. Too bad those ruins got destroyed. I mean, they lasted thousands of years. That's impressive.
We have more to say to her?
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
I'm sorry, Commander. I need to get my duties squared away.
Okay, that's all.
I wouldn't mind talking more later, though.
All right, cheers.
Dismissed, Chief.
Ma'am.
All right, good to know. We can equip our crew, but we'll hold off. We got to talk to our main man Rex here.
Shepard, what can I do for you?
Get to know
What's your
him.
story, Rex?
There's no story. Go ask the Quarian if you want stories.
We should show him some tough love.
You Krogans live for centuries. Don't tell me you haven't had a few interesting adventures.
Well, there was this one time the Turians almost wiped out our entire race. That was fun.
That's kind of, yeah, that's too bad.
I heard about that. You know, they almost did the same to us.
It's not the same.
How so?
It seems pretty much the same to me.
So your people were infected with a genetic mutation? An infection
Not that I know of.
makes only a few in 1,000 children survive birth? And I suppose it's destroying your entire species?
Yeah, fair enough.
I suppose it isn't all the same.
I don't expect you to understand, but don't compare humanity's fate with the Krogan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he does, I can understand why you would be sensitive about it.
I was just making conversation. I wasn't trying to upset you.
Your ignorance doesn't upset me, Shepard. As for the Krogan, I gave up on them long ago. The genophage infected us, but it's not what's killing us.
So what is exactly?
Are your people really dying?
We're sure not getting any stronger. We're too spread out. None of us are interested in staying in our own system.
So you can't have more Krogan babies.
Lots of species have left their homes and prospered.
But they go to colonize new worlds. We're not settlers. We're warriors. We want to fight. So we leave. Hire ourselves out. And most of us never go back.
What can you tell me about the genophage?
Ask the Solarians if you want details. They made it. All I know, it makes breeding nearly impossible. Thousands die in stillbirth, and most never get that far. Every Krogan is infected, every one. And no one's rushing to find a cure.
Because they don't trust your species.
Why don't the Krogan try to find a cure?
When was the last time you saw a Krogan
Yeah,
scientist?
fair enough.
You ask a Krogan, would he rather find a cure for the genophage or fight for credits? He'll choose fighting every time.
You seem to have a certain type.
It's just who we are, Shepard. I can't change that. Nobody can.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
Yeah, that's a tough situation. Let's see if we could pick up some gear. Probably still too
Looking
poor.
for supplies?
Know it.
Let's see what you got.
You bet, Commander.
All right, so we could use some light armor. We have 17,000 credits, which is pretty good. And you know what? We could probably even increase that by selling off some of these level 1 assault rifles. Because we're already starting to get level 2 materials. So let's go ahead and sell off all our level 1 gear that we have. We're going to keep the upgrades because I don't think we've equipped everybody with those type of that type of level yet. However, we could definitely use some light armor, light human armor. And it's pricey, 12,000, but I think it's worth it because I would rather not go down as often as we can. So before we forget, let's go ahead and equip that new armor on us. Yeah, damage protection, shields, transfer upgrades. Well, let's see if it's the best one, though. I don't know what we have currently. So we could get health regen, more shields, smash damage. The extra shields I think would be nice. Let's go ahead and grab that. And heading forwards to the engine compartment, we could chat with Talia. See what's going on with her. Tali, sorry, not Talia.
Your ship's amazing, Shepard. I've never seen a drive core like this before. I can't believe you were able to fit it into a ship this small. I'm starting to understand why you humans have been so successful. I had no idea Alliance vessels were so advanced.
It's one of a kind.
The Normandy's a prototype, cutting-edge technology.
A month ago, I was patching a makeshift fuel line into a converted tug ship in the flotilla. Now, I'm sitting on board one of the most advanced vessels in Citadel space. I have to thank you again for bringing me along. Traveling on a vessel like this is a dream come true for me.
I can tell this is a hobby.
I had no idea you found ship technology so interesting.
It comes with being a quarian. The migrant fleet is the key to the survival of my people. Ships are our most valuable resource. But we don't have anything like this. We make do with cast-offs and second-hand equipment. We just try to keep them running for as long as we can. Some of the fleet's larger vessels date all the way back to our original flight from the Geth.
300 years, wow, that was quite some time ago.
I can't believe your fleet's still using ships that are 3 centuries old.
They're constantly being repaired, modified, and refitted. They aren't pretty, but they work. Mostly. We've tried to make ourselves as independent as possible on the flotilla, grow our own food, mine and process our own fuel. But some things we just can't make on our own. A patch to maintain the hull integrity requires raw materials we just don't have. That's why our pilgrimages are so important.
It's that classic question, if you replace a boat one piece at a time, is it still the same boat? It kind of sounds like how their ships are right about now.
Tell me about your people.
Our lives aren't easy. Resources are scarce, and we are constantly on the move. Everything we do must in some way contribute to the continuation of the migrant fleet. There are 17 million quarians in the flotilla, and each of us relies on the others for survival. The bonds among my people are strong. Unfortunately, we have had to surrender many of the freedoms and civil liberties other species take for granted.
What kind of freedoms?
Well, it's illegal for parents to have more than one child. If our population grows too much, it would strain our resources to their breaking point. Of course, we also can't allow our numbers to become too few. If our population is in decline, the rule against single births is temporarily repealed.
That's fascinating. I mean, I
In
guess
extreme cases of
you do what you
population
have to do
decline,
to survive, but
incentives are even offered to encourage multiple births. Though the Conclave hasn't had to take such measures in nearly a century.
which is your version of the Council?
That's your government.
The Conclave is our civilian branch of government. Each ship can elect a representative to serve on the Conclave and make decisions that affect the fleet as a whole. On matters that affect an individual ship, however, the captain has the final say. It's a tradition that dates back to the early days, when the fleet was governed by martial law. Fortunately, most captains nowadays are smart enough to have an elected council from their crew to give them advice and guidance.
Oh, that's so cool. I love how their government is so well thought out, and you know, it makes sense given their unique situation.
So the ultimate power rests with elected officials?
In practice, the Conclave and the respective council for each ship tend to set the rules that govern our daily lives. But in theory, we are still under military jurisdiction. The 5 top-ranking military officials in the fleet serve on the Admiralty Board. These 5 have the power to overrule any decision by the Conclave in case of emergency. To do so requires unanimous agreement among the Admiralty, and they can only do this once. After that, the entire board must resign their posts. It's a safeguard that served us well. In nearly 3 centuries, the Admiralty Board has only overruled the Conclave 4 times.
It's so neat to sort of hear their system of checks and balances of representation from, you know, via the Conclave versus the, you know, the executive, I guess, of the Admiralty and each captain, and it's just very, very fascinating. Seems like a really good system.
I want to know more about the Geth.
I doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost 3 centuries since they drove my people into exile. All I know is the story of their origins, what they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
Interesting.
The Geth were originally created to serve as an automated manual labor force. Initially, their intelligence was as limited as any VI. Over time, we made small modifications to their programming to allow them to perform more varied and complex tasks, bringing them closer and closer to true AI status.
Which I'm sure other species were not happy
How
about.
come the council didn't step in and stop you?
This wasn't true AI research. We may have been skirting the bounds of the law, but we never did anything that was actually illegal. The changes were so insignificant, so gradual, that we were able to control them. Or so we thought. But one thing we underestimated was the power of the neural network. A million Geth thinking simultaneously created an inherently unstable matrix.
Which is, I guess, like the cloud, essentially.
So the Geth share brain power?
Many of the Geth's logic systems were designed to work in concert with other nearby Geth. Basically, the more of them you have in the group, the smarter they are.
I wonder if that has any practical implications for combat. Like, if you take out, the more you take out of them, the harder it is for them to hit you, maybe?
So there's some sort of group consciousness.
No, nothing like that. They cannot share sensory data or information. Their programming cannot handle that much simultaneous input. Each Geth maintains an individual awareness and identity. The neural network only operates on a process-based level. It's basically the synthetic equivalent of a subconscious. But when they're in close proximity, they can coordinate low-level functional processes, freeing up more capacity for original or independent thought.
I mean, I kind of get it, but I just want to see what Shepard has to say.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm probably oversimplifying. The Geth are incredibly advanced and complex creations. All you need to know is that they get smarter when they gather in large numbers. As we built more and more Geth, their effective intelligence became more sophisticated, more abstract. One day, a Geth began to ask its quarian overseer questions about the nature of its existence. Am I alive? Why am I here? What is my purpose? As you can imagine, this caused a near panic among my people.
I don't see what's so bad about those questions.
I don't see either.
The Geth were created to engage in mundane, repetitive, or dangerous manual labor. That's fine for machines, but it won't satisfy a sentient being for long. The Geth were showing signs of rudimentary self-awareness and independent thought. If the Geth were intelligent, then we were essentially using them as slaves.
That's fair.
It was inevitable the newly
So that they
sentient
could
Geth
choose
would
their
rebel
own,
against their situation.
their own actions.
We knew they would rise up against us, so we acted first. A general order went out across all quarian-controlled systems to permanently deactivate all Geth. The Geth responded to this order violently.
I mean, that's understandable.
Hey, you can't blame them for fighting for their survival.
We had no other choice. The Geth were already on the verge of revolution. By acting quickly, we had a chance to end the war before it began.
Or maybe you pushed them over the
The hope was
edge.
that most of the Geth would still be little more than machines, incapable of organized resistance. But they had progressed much further than anyone anticipated. The war was long and bloody. Millions upon millions of quarians died at their hands. In the end, we were forced to flee our own homeworld. We feared the Geth would pursue us, but they never came beyond the Veil. Now we drift through space, exile searching for a way to reclaim what was once ours.
I mean, it's hard to argue that they weren't just defending themselves. You don't, by acting rashly, you sounds like they kind of pushed them over the edge.
It's hard to feel sorry for you. Your ancestors tried to wipe out another species.
We made a mistake when we created the Geth in the first place, but we did not make a mistake when we went to war against them. If we had not acted, they would have wiped us out. They're a synthetic life form. They have no use for organics. None. Why do you think they cut themselves off from the rest of the galaxy? Why do you think they've killed every organic being who's ever tried to contact them?
Not Saren, right?
They didn't kill Saren.
What does that tell you? The Geth are not innocent victims in all this. They're the enemy. They want to destroy us. Not just the quarians. All organic life. That's why they've joined up with Saren. And that's why we have to stop him.
I want to know more about the pilgrimage.
When my people reach maturity, we leave our birth ships and seek acceptance with a new crew. It's necessary to maintain genetic diversity among the fleet.
Yeah,
But no
I guess
ship
there's
wants
not
to accept someone who will be a burden on them. So,
inbred.
to prove our worth, we embark on a pilgrimage. We set out alone, leaving the flotilla and our families behind us. We only return once we have found something of value we can bring back to the fleet. This is presented as a gift to the captain of the respective ship we wish to join. If the gift is accepted, we are welcomed into the crew.
And if it's not accepted?
Can a captain choose to reject the gift?
That doesn't happen often. Most captains are eager to increase the size of their crew. It increases their own standing in our society. Even when a gift is not particularly valuable, the captain usually accepts it out of a sense of tradition. However, there is a stigma to presenting a substandard gift. It's not the best way to make a good impression on a new community. Most pilgrims don't return until they find something worthwhile.
What are you looking for?
I can't believe they just send you off alone.
It's not like they just cast us out. Before we leave, we are given lessons in how to survive outside the flotilla, and given gifts to help us on our journey. We also receive implants to fight off sickness and disease. Generations of living in an isolated and highly controlled environment have left our immune systems weaker than most. By the time we leave the fleet, we are well equipped for the pilgrimage. This is a rite of passage for all quarians. If it were dangerous, our numbers would suffer. Virtually every pilgrimage ends with a triumphant return and the ritual presentation of the gift to one of the fleet's captains.
Sounds
I wanna
pretty
talk
well
about
thought out.
something else.
Like what?
Alright, I'm good.
I should go.
See you later.
Alright, a lot of really fascinating stuff about the quarians. And it's really, it's pretty amazing how they've managed to make each of the races so incredibly different. The Turians are extremely organized and justice-oriented, and the Krogan are very warlike and, are mercenaries for hire, and the Asari are I guess, philosophical, and the Solarians are the intellectual, so on and so forth. So just learning more about these cultures is a lot of fun, for sure. Not sure where Liara is. We're gonna have to find her eventually, but that's good for now. So let's take a look where we want to head next. Alright, goodbye Therum. Alright, I think we started in and we were heading out, or I can't recall. Let's go ahead and check this out again. Metallic asteroid. I guess we already hit that, so that means we were probably going outwards. Dakros. There. Armeni. Closer investigation revealed these as millions of elaborate crypts a few meters below the surface left by a long-extinct spacefaring species called the Zeoth. Many human universities wish to perform archaeological excavations. Council law holds grave sites as sacrosanct, however, and the matter has been tied up in court for a decade. It's amazing how many little stories there are like these for some of these planets that never get to referred to again. They're just sort of flavor, I guess, but they are all really, really interesting, and they all give a lot more depth to this this galaxy. Arcanes. Right, a deposit of nitrogen. I think that's all there is here in Gnosis. And I think this was the last system we had to look at, because we started in Sparta. Artemis Tau, yeah. I believe we have a mission in Hades Gamma. Let's go ahead and jump to... I guess it doesn't really matter. Oh, there's only two choices anyway. To Antaeus. Let's check our journal. Is it here? Yeah, travel to the Antaeus system and the Hades Gamma cluster to look for the missing survey team. Okay, so we are in the right spot. Let's go ahead and drop a save before we jump in too much farther. Look for this missing survey team. Start in and work our way out. A gecko. Edmos. Hydrogen, helium. Usually, these end up getting surveyed. One reason or another. Ploba. Some believe Ploba is a Jupiter brain, a planet-sized supercomputer. Adherents of this theory have fruitlessly beamed signals toward the sunken megastructures, hoping to get the machine's attention. Others believe that an ancient spacefaring race disposed of their weapons of war by dumping them into the planet. The last attempt to reach and salvage Ploba's deep anomalies went tragically wrong and ended with a crew of 12 being trapped and crushed in the lower atmosphere. Fascinating. Recovered a strange object orbiting Ploba. Chief Engineer Adams and Tali tried unsuccessfully to determine its origin. They did find one of Matriarch Dilanaga's writings stored within. Perfect. Wow. What if that really was just a giant planet-sized computer? That's great. Trebin. Alright, here we go. Trebin is a modest terrestrial world with an atmosphere composed of nitrogen and argon. Its surface is mainly composed of nickel with deposits of silver. The environment is relatively mild, but the scarcity of water or similar enabling substances has prevented the development of any biosphere. Exogeny Corp recently performed a test impact of a single water-ice comet to the surface, the first step of a long-term plan to thicken the atmosphere and introduce water to the environment. A survey team is on the surface monitoring the geological and meteorological effects of the test impact. Most of the water released is still in the form of atmospheric vapor, but thick cloud banks have formed. There is every indication that this arid world will soon see its first rain. The survey team's progress has been hampered by frequent mechanical or computer failures in their GPS satellites. And apparently they've gone missing to boot, so... alright, well... Let's take Tali, because I think we've leveled up enough that she can actually hack stuff for us, which is going to be huge. And, let's see if we can give Garrus some of those same skills as well. So that, in case we don't want to bring Tali on the mission, he's still able to do one or the other for us. As soon as we land, let's jump into our skill tree and get as far as we can. Alright, 8 points. Excellent. So, electronics. Yeah, we need to... Okay, damping, great. Use electronic skill on average objects. We definitely want that. Hacking. Oh, okay. Hang on. So decryption. Decryption skill on hard objects. Okay, so hacking is just for robotic enemies, so we don't necessarily need that right away. We can get both. We can get this electronic skill on hard and decryption skill on hard. And that is going to make me a lot happier. Perfect. Garrus has 8 to go. Let's get his sniper rifle skill. And let's go ahead and give him the ability to decrypt average objects. I think that's going to be handy. Damping, and then we're gonna get him to the point where he can do hard objects as well. We're gonna save our 2 points. Save overall. Oh, this makes me so happy. So we can finally get these hidden or these locked objects. It pains me to leave any sort of freebies behind. So it's going to be a lot more satisfying now. Alright, I see something on the other side of those ridges. Yeah, a lot of these initial planets that we've landed on have seemed a little samey, you know, just kind of deserty, with not much variation in what's going on. But at least each of the anomalies that we discover on here are different enough that they're pretty interesting. 3. Go ahead and grab this. Quarian insignia. Okay. Good to have. Our research base. Yeah, let's just knock out our, I guess, main quest. Our primary reason for being on this planet, and then we'll swing by the other 2. Oh, holy cow! Oh, that scared me. Oh, what are the odds of running into 2 of these things?